Trading a complex false break. Now, this is just as simple as trading a simple false break or the false break with two candles. The only difference is that the number of candles above or beyond the level might be infinite. It can be 3 candles, it can be 15 candles, and so on and so forth. So the main important note about the complex false break is that the more candles there will be above the level, the potentially stronger might be the impulse. So the more time the price will spend above the level, playing around or maybe gathering some kind of a position, even better if you can see some kind of a consolidation above the level, and then this would be the complex false break. And as it moves down, the longer the consolidation was, the more people entered into climbing, so more people open the long positions, and therefore more people will be closing their long positions, and therefore the stronger will be the impulse of going down after the false break. Now, one important rule for the consolidation above the level for the false break, for the complex false break model, is that those candles above the level, they must not pierce the level. They must not go through the level. Touching the level is okay because it is a sign of a limit player. But going through the level, so pretty much creating a false break but from above, so from the other side, is a completely different story, and it can be quite difficult, and it might start looking like the level is turning more into a floating level rather than being a really nice structure for a complex false break. Now let's move to the screen and I'll show you an example of a complex false break. Here you can see these two examples that we had of simple false breaks with just one candle and one tail. And here, this one would be a fantastic example of a complex false break. Now here we would have one candle, 2 candles, 3 candles, 4, 5, 6, 7, and on the 7th candle we would open our short position and enter into falling prices. And of course the entry, the stop order itself would be a few points, 1 or 2 points beyond the level itself. So this stays the same. It is quite simple. So here the trade procedure is as follows. Number 1, we need ourselves a strong level. That's easy enough, and that you know already. Number 2, we need breaking candle to close above the level. So this one here did not close above the level, but this one here did. So this is our breaking candle and it closes above the level. Then number 3, we need a minimum of 2 more, and the more the better. Minimum of 2 more candles must open and close above the level. Now, once again, the rule that these candles must not pierce the level and must not break the level going down. Touching it is okay. It shows the limit player, as I've said before. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more candles above the level, and the 5th one is the one that would go down and show us the false break, and we would automatically enter into the falling prices. Now, as far as the complex false break is concerned, we would set out our stop order for the stop sell order, as in this case, after the 3rd candle finishes and closes above the level. So this one is the first one, the one that broke the level. This is the 2nd one, and this is the 3rd one. So once this candle finishes, now we have a potential for the complex false break model, and as this candle finishes, we would set our stop order a few points below the level, and as the price moves down quite nicely, it touches our stop level and the short position opens automatically. And the last step, of course, after getting our trade, make sure that we have the shortest possible stop, and in this case the technical one would not be possible because the false break went quite high up and our technical stop would be too big. It will be actually around 100 points. So that would make no sense. We would use a fixed one, in this case around 20 to 26 points at an absolute maximum. And of course, we should make sure that our take profit is set out to be at least 1-to-3 ratio. We should check the ATR and make sure that we have enough range to the next level to fit in, squeeze in our 1-to-3 ratio of take profit. So that's pretty much all that you need to know about how to trade a simple false break, a false break with 2 candles, and a complex false break. We have one more model that we should discuss, and I should show you how to trade, and that's the bounce model. We've spoken about it before, but in the next lesson we'll talk about, and I'll teach you how to trade correctly and what is the trade procedure for the bounce model. For now, you already know how to trade a true break, the simple false break, the false break with 2 candles, and a complex false break. But remember that the complex false break, it might have quite a few different shapes. It might go quite high up, as it did here, 100 points, and that's absolutely fine. It still could be a very powerful false break, because as you can see here, the chart that I have open here is a 1-hour chart. And this false break looked a lot smaller in the daily chart. So this is okay. And if, for example, you're trading a daily key level and you're using 5-minute chart as your entry chart, then this kind of a false break will look humongous, incredibly huge. It will look like half of the day the market was moving up and then half of the day it was moving down. But in reality, it was just a really small false break in the daily chart. So remember the concept of the lens. And the 5 minutes is a huge lens to the daily chart. And what I do is I still trade the 5-minute chart, and I trade the daily levels, and I look for the simple false break, the false breaks with 2 candles, and the complex false breaks, even in the 5-minute chart. And it really depends on the situation, but this is the core concept of how to trade 3 types of false breaks. And one last time, the complex false break might have quite a few different shapes. As I've said before, it can move up, move away from the level quite substantially, quite a lot of points, and it can actually stay around the level and show a really nice consolidation, kind of a side movement on top of the level, and then make its way down and become a complex false break. And once again, if you see one of those consolidation ones where the market is just dancing around the level but above the level and creating a consolidation, a really nice looking limit player, this is a fantastic complex false break. It can become a fantastic complex false break simply because, as I've said before, the longer that consolidation, the more fuel will be gathered for the move down, and a lot more people will be joining the climbing prices and opening long positions, but then they will be cheated out of their money a little bit there, and they will be closing their long positions, and in that way generating a huge impulse of going down and following this complex false break. So this is something you should be watching out for, and make sure that you understand what a complex false break is in this example. And remember that the shape of the false break, especially the complex false break, might be different. It might be going up quite a lot, just like here with a really nice symmetrical move, or it can be, let me try and see if there was something like that here. Just like this one here, this would also be considered a complex false break, but it did pierce the level going down, so this becomes a slightly floating level in this area. So this is absolutely this is not very nice. Here you could trade a false break with 2 candles around this location, but then it would probably not work out very well, and you would be stopped out, and at this point taking one more entry into falling with another false break with 3 candles, in this case they already becoming a complex false break, it might become quite challenging. So these kinds of situations can be difficult, and they become a bit of a floating level, so the level is being smeared into the price, and the price is all over the place, so this can become quite challenging, and therefore the complex false breaks can be a little bit difficult. And the best ones that I love are the simple false breaks like you see. This one's here, a really simple one. It pierces it. You will set out your stop order, and then as it goes down in the same brief moment within 5 or 10 minutes, and then there is a nice impulse, and that's it, you're happy. The complex false break can be a little bit more challenging, just like the true break, as we've discussed in the beginning of this chapter. So make sure you understand the differences, and we will talk about how to choose a model to trade on a daily basis, and I'll explain which one works better and which one you should pay more attention to in later lessons. All right, this lesson is coming to an end. Please don't forget about the test. Enjoy your homework. See you in the next lesson.